This is Keys to My Mind, episode 7. It's called the CarWreck. I think it was January of 2009. I had a car wreck. An 18-wheeler was parked on the side of the highway. I was leaving from a club on Highway 84 in Collins. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was trying to rush back home to Columbia because I had to take my girlfriend to work or whatever. And I had been going through a lot of personal problems. 6 months before this happened, my little brother was killed in an accident, a four-wheeler accident. And the next month after that, my son passed away. Complications with his kidneys or whatever. So mentally, I was not myself. Mentally, I was not in my right mind. I did a lot of crying. I did a lot of soul searching. And I did a lot of smoking. I did a lot of drinking. And so mentally, like I said, mentally, I was not in the place that I need to be. And I went out that night. I had been drinking heavy. I had been smoking heavy. And my friend had told me, my best friend, he was like, Derek, you look down, you look like, something's wrong. And usually I'm the one who drives him home. So he offered me to come home with him that night. He was like, if you need to stay with me tonight, you can stay, and this and that. But at that time, him and his old lady, they were having some problems. So I didn't want to come. I didn't want to stay over there, while they had that going on. And, looking back at it now, I should have stayed because he asked me to stay. And he never answered me to stay. So obviously he knew something that I didn't know. So I ended up going to this club. Like I said, I was already drunk pretty much before I got there. I was already high as shit before I got there. And I really didn't have a good time. I just sit in the corner, I just, whatever. Everybody noticed it, usually I'm the life of the party. So everybody was asking me like, what's the problem, whatever. So a long story short is this. Like I said, 18-wheeler parked on the side of the highway. On that day, it had snowed. It doesn't usually snow in Mississippi, but it had snowed that day. So visibility was terrible. You could, it was sneaking. It was like you could barely see anything. So when the truck pulled on the side of the road, by the time I got up on this truck, like I said, I'm just from a small town. By the time I got up on this truck, it was too late to even stop or whatever. But like I said, I blame myself because I had been drinking, I had been smoking, and I shouldn't have been out there late. And long story short, after this 18-wheeler accident, I broke my neck. I broke some bones in my neck. I broke my arm. I broke my leg. I broke my ribs. My hip was dislocated. Basically, my left hip was on my right side. So my hip was twisted. My whole body was twisted. A piece of my liver got severed or whatever. And they had to open me up. They thought that my aorta was severed. So I'm like the fucking zipper man. I have a scar from like here to here on my chest or whatever. They told me that there was a good chance that I might never walk again. They told me that it's a good chance that I might not even survive. For 3 days, the first 3 days I was there, I don't remember. This happened Friday night, Saturday morning. So for 3 days, I don't remember anything hardly. I don't remember. People can't say they came to visit. People said, they said these things to me. People said, they said that to me. I don't remember any of these things. All I remember is when I woke up, it might have been Sunday night, it might have been Monday morning, or whatever it was. I look at myself, and I knew that, you know, I was like, I done fucked up. Like, I knew that it was some things that was wrong. So I moved my left arm and did my arm like this. I said, okay, this arm is cool. I moved my left leg. I said, okay, that's cool. I tried to move my right arm. So I immediately knew, because I've broken bones before. My arm was broke. Couldn't move my right arm. Tried to move my right leg. I looked down there. They got it all, whatever. I had broke, I don't know, 70% of the bones that were in my thigh. And I had shattered my tibia or whatever. And my arm, I have a rod. Now they had to put a rod in my leg. So to this day, I do have a rod in my leg, so I cannot run. Now I can walk and I can jog, but I can't run. And they also put a plate in my arm. So basically my whole right side of my body has been compromised. So, and like I said, a piece of my liver got severed. So when I drink alcohol, my tolerance is not as high as it used to be. I tell people this: when you have a accident, or you have a ACL or a MCL or a MC, whatever you have, when you have an injury that's severe, most of it is here. It's in your mind. So I had to mentally tell myself that, you know, that I was gonna be okay, that I could recover from this, and at least I didn't die or whatever, because the doctor said like 2 inches, a log truck hit me. Or I hit the log truck, however you want to put it. 2 inches over with this log truck, he said it would have punctured my heart, because it hit me in my chest, the logs or whatever. So I tell people, like, you know, I was 28 at this time. I'm 46 now. So you looking at 20 years, you know what I'm saying? Almost 20 years ago that I had this wreck. And like I said, mentally, when I had this car wreck, I had to mentally tell myself, like, because I was like, I'll never be the same. I'll never be able to do this. I had to mentally tell myself, like, Derek, it could have been a lot worse. Derek, you could have been deceased. You know what I mean? And I had to train myself to make I'm a right-handed person. So majority of what I did was to my right hand. I had to make myself learn how to use the left side of my body. I started working out, I started running, I started doing these exercises. So now, like I said, I'm right-handed. Now I can use both of my hands. I can pretty much do anything I can do with my right side of my body, my right hand, my right leg, I can do with my left now. So I look at that as a positive. Like now, you know, my body is more proportionate to what it needs to be, instead of being just right side dominant or whatever. So they gave me a therapist. Like I said, 3 days, I didn't know what happened. So they sent me a therapist, and the therapist was supposed to stay for, I think, 2 months or whatever, and tell me why. You know, when he would tell me to do the exercises, like, the main thing he said was to get the pressure back, my body weight pressure back, to be able to stand on my feet again, to stand on my leg or whatever. So when he would tell me to do these exercises, like do 3 of these, or do 3 of these, like 3 of these exercises, 3 of these kind of exercises, I'm the kind of person that once I got over this mental block that I had, and I knew that I could do this shit, I would triple what he would say. So if he said do 3 of these a day, I'll do like 12. If he told me you try to put pressure on my feet and walk 5 or 10 feet, I walk 20. So whatever he was telling me to do, I would double it, and sometimes I would triple it. Because I knew that if I sit there and if I did not do for myself, nobody was gonna do it for me. No one was there. Nobody can do this for me but me. Nobody gonna feel sorry for me. Nobody's gonna whatever. So I prayed a lot. Like I said, I was diligent in doing these exercises. I was diligent in trying to make my body, to withstand these injuries. So I prayed to God, and this is no lie. In 2 weeks, I was walking again. In 2 weeks, broken leg, broken arm, all of this riding my leg. In 2 weeks, I was walking again because I was determined to get back at least to half, like where I was. And I walked from, at that point, we stayed in a FEMA trailer. So it was like 2004, 2005. At that point, I would walk from this FEMA trailer, which was across town, to Walmart. I worked at Walmart at the time. So I would walk, and you talking about, I don't know, 5 miles, 10 miles away. I would walk every day. I had had a crutch or whatever, because I refused to get into the wheelchair. They're like, you need a wheelchair? And I'm like, no. If I get into that wheelchair and I sit down, then I'm gonna stay sitting down. No, I'm too young for that. So I would get on my crutch, because I wouldn't use 2 crutches, I use 1. I would get on my crutch and I would walk down the highway all the way to Walmart every fucking day. People stopped, people laughed at me, people, the people that knew me, they and look and this and that, and it was funny. It's people like to pick at you and like to pride, but see, I'm the kind of person, when you pick and pride at me, all you're doing is motivating me more to do it more than ever. So, like I'm telling y'all, 2 weeks after I had this car wreck, I was walking, because when I went for my 2-week checkup, to the doctor or whatever, and they was like, where he at? And I walked in there. Like I said, had a crutch or whatever. And the doctor told me, he was like, he's been a doctor for 30 years. It's like 30 years that I've been a doctor, that I've been practicing medicine. No one has ever recovered as fast as you have. No, he's never seen a recovery, that quick or whatever. And I told him, like, I don't want to be stuck in these conditions, because I have shit that I need to still do. I still have a life ahead of me. But like I'm telling you, I had to pray. I had to ask God to forgive me for things. I was doing a lot of shit that I wasn't supposed to be doing, and I really was in a state of despair. So I asked God to take this despair off of me, to help me fix these problems.